The F-22 Raptor has long been known as one of the most advanced fighter jets in the world, boasting unparalleled speed, maneuverability, and stealth capabilities. However, in recent years, rumors have been swirling that the F-22 may soon be replaced by a new aircraft, the F-23. Designed to surpass even the F-22 in performance, the F-23 is said to feature advanced weapon systems, increased range, and superior stealth technology. Some experts have speculated that the F-23 could potentially become the new standard-bearer for air superiority, with the ability to dominate the skies like no aircraft before it. Despite these rumors, the United States military has remained tight-lipped about the status of the F-23 program, leaving many to wonder if the aircraft is indeed in development, and if so, when it might make its debut. As tensions continue to rise across the globe, the future of air power hangs in the balance, with the F-23 potentially poised to take center stage. At the time, Northrop was in the doghouse with the Pentagon in the U.S. Congress because of massive cost overruns on the B-2 Spirit stealth bomber and several other projects. Meanwhile, partner McDonnell Douglas wasn't faring much better. In 1991, Lockheed won the Advanced Tactical Fighter competition and went on to develop the stealthy world-beating F-22 Raptor air superiority fighter. While in many ways, Northrop's losing YF-23 was a much better design, but the U.S. Air Force chose the Lockheed aircraft because it believed that company would better manage the development program, and because the service thought the Raptor would cost less. At the time, Northrop was in the doghouse with the Pentagon in the U.S. Congress because of massive cost overruns on the B-2 Spirit stealth bomber and several other projects. Meanwhile, partner McDonnell Douglas wasn't faring much better. I don't know how the Air Force decided which contractors would build the ATF. But I can only assume that there was some long overdue consideration of Northrop's dismal track record of test fraud, contract suspension and fines, Representative John Conyers told the LA Times years ago. But what would an operational F-23 have looked like? And what if General Electric's revolutionary variable cycle YF-120 had carried the day? Even in 1991, in terms of raw performance, the General Electric-powered YF-23 was acknowledged to have been the best performer even compared to its Pratt & Whitney YF-119-powered twin. The YF-23 had much better supersonic cruise performance, stealth, and was only slightly less maneuverable at extremely low airspeeds. Interestingly, the YF-22 and YF-23 had exactly the same trimmed AOA of 60 degrees. The YF-23 could do it without thrust vectoring. Those V-tails were very powerful, especially when coupled to an unstable airframe, said one source who is intimately familiar with both the YF-23 and the Raptor. The YF-22 probably had an advantage at very, very low airspeeds, but neither company had enough time to investigate dynamic low-speed, high AOA maneuvering. This was a good example of how a competition needs to consider the PR value of flight test events. Lockheed understood this and did high AOA and shot missiles and pulled 9 gigaseconds. All single-point, benign condition events, but they left an impression. The final operational version of the F-23 would have offered much better range than the Raptor, especially at supersonic speeds, especially if powered by the YF-120. That would have come in handy over the Pacific. It would also have been stealthier, and it would have been almost as maneuverable as the Raptor, or possibly more so at different speeds and altitudes. Both the Raptor and a fully operational F-23 would have carried 8 air-to-air missiles internally. That was the Air Force requirement. Moreover, the operational jets were essentially identically in terms of avionics. Both competitors had proposed similar avionics suites. In fact, the Raptor ended up with the radar that was originally proposed for the YF-23. Ultimately, the Air Force ended up with an excellent plane with the Raptor, but both the YF-22 and YF-23 were outstanding designs. Had Northrop won the competition, the F-23 might have been a better overall performer, but it would have likely been more expensive. With the F-23, the Air Force would have a greater margin of superiority over potential threats like the Chinese J-20 or the Russian PAK-FA. But would that have been worth the price differential? Hard to say, but one can only imagine.